my board. I might have to hold a board next to me. I'm super excited. Tonight we're going to talk about how to do the pencil pitch. Who has heard of the pencil pitch? Or who knows what that is? Okay. So the pencil pitch is it's a training video in Isagenix that basically shows you how to introduce people to the business opportunity before the products. And so last week, Allison talked about like the top-down approach, which is talking to people about the business before, instead of just talking about the product. And I will tell you, this is a huge skill, and I'll tell you why. So I don't know if everyone on here knows me. I think so, but maybe if you're watching the recording, you don't know my story. My name's Gretchen, and before Isagenix, I was a hospital nurse that was really burnt out in my career, and my body was physically burnt out. And I was introduced to Isagenix by Holly. I've known Holly at church, so she was just a friend who started me on the products. And I've been using the products for 6 years now. And as a result of Isagenix, I had all this energy. I had a new love for my family and my job. I loved my kids again. They were annoying to me before Isagenix. And it was solely because my body needed nourishing. So, I really believed that everybody should have that solution when I started, but I didn't go about it talking about the business. I talked about the products because that's what I had, was a transformation in my body of the products. And so learning how to approach people about starting an Isagenix business or doing Isagenix for the income solution, right? We have solutions for our bodies and we have solutions for income. That took a lot of skill learning. And I will tell you, you can learn the skill to do this, because now, 6 years in, I almost exclusively approach people about the business first. And if they say no to me about the business, then I will ask them about the products. And that's kind of this method, is asking them about the business first and then talking to them about the products. Now, I will say, I'm going to teach you how to do this, but there's 2 things I want you to do. I want you to watch the video that was posted in Leaders Rise Here, and I'll actually put it in the chat for you too. If you just Google pencil pitch Isagenix, it's the very first video that pops up. And I'm just going to put it in the chat. So I literally just went to Google right now and typed in pencil pitch, and there it is. And I want you to watch this, and I want you to do something. If you decide tonight that this method is something that you are going to commit to trying and commit to doing, I want you to watch this video and pause it every minute or so and write down exactly how she says it. So when I was learning this, I literally wrote what she was saying on note cards. This is also how I learned the products. Like when I decided I was going to do Isagenix and to earn money, I took radical responsibility that it was my job to learn what I needed to learn in order to be successful. And so for me, what being successful helps me, a thing that helps me to be successful is feeling confident in what I'm saying, which means I'm going to practice what I'm going to say. So I would practice my 30-second story in front of the mirror. I would practice saying it in the car while I was driving. You might have noticed that when I introduced myself, I used the format of the 30-second story. And when I reach out to people, I use the templates for the scripts, because in Isagenix, the more you can do something that's teachable to other people, the more that people can do what you're doing. And I know that I'm kind of charismatic, or I think that's a gift God gave me. So someone who's maybe not so easy on stage or a bit able to just talk to anyone, they might look at me and go, well, I can't do what she does because I don't have that gift to just be able to talk to anyone for no reason. Well, I learned that skill as a nurse, right? So I want people to look at me and go, oh, she just used the 30-second story template. Oh, she just used that script. You can do that. You can learn all of those things. I just took it upon myself to learn them. So when you watch the pencil pitch video, what I did is I literally played the video, paused it, wrote down what she said on a note card, played the video, paused it, wrote down the next thing she said on a different note card. And then I numbered the note cards, and then I taught it to myself. This is how I learned the comp plan too. So do that tonight, because learning how to say it the way she does in the video is super helpful for you to be successful, because then you don't have to come up with eloquent words. You can just use her words. So a lot of what I'll teach you tonight will be to use her words. And I wrote down exactly what she said, and I'm going to share it to you. So, okay. So that's kind of what we're going to learn tonight, is how to share the business opportunity. It takes 3 to 5 minutes to share it, this method of Isagenix this way. And I think the best way is to invite someone to hop on a 15-minute call with you. It's a little bit different than sharing a video tool with Isagenix, because they're probably going to have a lot of questions, right? Because you're basically asking them to share Isagenix for income. So it's not like they're just saying yes to drinking some shakes. Like, they're probably going to have a lot of questions for you. So what I do, and I did this very same thing today, is I had some people who were curious. And so I said, hey, actually, I'll just pull up the message. How about that? I'll just pull up the message that I sent to Robin today. And I sent it to a couple of people, but I'll just show you exactly what I said to Robin. Oh, so she commented on something on my stories. And I said, you were actually on my mind today to message you to ask you if you would be willing to take 3 to 5 minutes to hear about the income opportunity with Isagenix. It takes me about 3 minutes to draw it out and explain it, and then you can ask questions. 15 minutes total tops of your time. And I didn't message her that out of the blue. We have been chatting about Isagenix, and a few messages back, she made a comment about wanting to start a business. So today's message was a follow-up message to that conversation. So if you're kind of wondering like why that was so direct and out of context, but that's simply what you're going to do for the first step, is just ask someone, hey, do you have 3 to 5 minutes for me to show you the income opportunity with Isagenix? And the next thing that you want to say that's really critical is say, are you open? And pause. Are you open? Because if they're not open, the rest of the conversation needs to wait until they're open. And so you might say something like, can I show you a financial model that has changed my family's future? That could have been another way I said that to her, but I've been specifically talking about Isagenix, so I felt very comfortable just saying it the way I did. But the way she says it in the video is, can I share a financial model that has changed my family's future? If it hasn't changed your family's future yet, you can say, can I share a financial model that will change my family's future, right? So maybe you're brand new. Just speak it forward. Like, this is going to be what changes my family's future. Are you open? You know, and smile. Be like, are you open? Because by getting them to say, yes, I'm open, it's like neuro-linguistic programming. Does anybody know what NLP is? It's like a type of way that you speak. Susan Sly does this a lot, where you basically are asking them to give you permission to keep going. So then you don't ever have to worry about feeling like, oh, am I talking too much? Or you're asking for permission for this. So if they say, yeah, I'm open, or I don't know, I'll hear what you have to say, you now have permission to share it. So you're going to share a lot more natural if you feel like you have permission. Okay, so then the next thing you're going to do is you're going to get out a sheet of paper, and I'm going to use my whiteboard. That's why I wasn't sure. I think we're going to have to get real close so you can read it. I'm going to move my chair. I'm like a foot away from my whiteboard, but I think it's the only way you'll be able to see it. Okay. So you're going to get a sheet of paper. So imagine that this is a sheet of paper here, okay? So if you're like on Zoom with someone, what you might do is have like some shake canisters nearby, and you can flip your camera. So you're like on Zoom on your phone, and be like, okay, I'm going to flip my camera so you can see my sheet of paper. And then you just flip your camera, and then you can prop it up on the canisters so that the camera is actually hanging off and your piece of paper is down below. Does that make sense? Okay. So then you're going to have your phone staring at your paper, and you're going to be talking, and you're going to say, have you heard or talked about him last week? If they say yes, then you don't need to do this next part. But if they say no, or they're like, I think so, what you want to say is, well, he's a financial and business mogul who's written several books, about business and residual-based business models. He wrote the book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and Business of the 21st Century. The book Business of the 21st Century is about the model I'm going to share with you today. So if you haven't read his books, it'd probably be helpful to read them. They're like $5. I enjoyed them because they're all about I'm going to show you what they're all about because that's what you're going to teach them. But it is helpful to read the books just so you know what they're about. So then you're going to say, I'm going to show you what Robert Kiyosaki teaches about cash flow today. And you're going to write cash flow at the top of your paper. You guys can see that. Okay, you can. And then you're going to draw a little box and you're going to put E, S, B, I. Okay. And you're going to say, let me show you how cash flow works. Okay. And you're going to talk about how each of these quadrants, and you're going to say the E stands for employee. That's like having a job, right? And the S stands for self-employed. So that's where you get to set your own hours, but you still have to trade time for money. So everything on this side of the equation, the E and the S, is trading time for money. So I either go to a job and they pay me for the time and the work that I do, or I open my store and I get paid for the time that I'm there for the sales that I do while I'm at my job. So some people think being self-employed is like, you know, that's the end game. The problem is, have you ever met someone who's opened a business and now, like a franchise, now they're working way more than they ever were as an employee because if someone calls in sick, they have to be there. They got to be there when the store is open. You know, they have to do the order, make sure the orders are ready. Like it's actually way more work to be self-employed. And this represents 95% of people and 5% of the wealth. Now, on the other side of the equation is business and investing, okay? And this is what Robert Kiyosaki talks about, where the freedom is. This is what I'm going to show you, how what we have with Isagenix is in this quadrant. The business side and the investor side is 5% of the people and 95% of the wealth. So you're going to draw that for them. You're going to draw the 5 and the 95. I know it's a little hard to see with the glare. And you're going to draw the 95 and the 5 over here. And then the next thing you're going to say is, I don't know about you, but I want to be on this side. Do you want to be on this side? And you want to wait for that yes. You want to wait for that pause. I don't know about you, but I'd like to be on this side, you know, because it's basically assessing, because we've been talking now for a few minutes, it's assessing like where they're at. And you want to get them to say like, well, yeah, I want to be on this side, you know, like that makes sense. So you're going to say, let me show you how Isagenix is really similar. And you're going to flip the paper over. So I'm just going to erase it because I don't have that ability. You're going to flip the paper over. So now we have a new sheet of paper. And you're going to say, my company, Isagenix, uses the cash flow quadrant in how we pay people for referrals. And we have, so you're going to write Isagenix at the top of this other side, you're going to write Isagenix cash flow. Because you're basically showing this is the exact same thing that Robert Kiyosaki did. Okay, imagine that I didn't write off the page. And you're going to put a line down the paper and you're going to put linear income on the left and you're going to put leveraged on the right. Now, this next part you're not going to say, but I just want to point this out to you, okay? A PIB and a rank advancement bonus and the leadership pools, they all fall over here because that's money that you make. Whoa, that's money that you make trading your time for money, right? Like I get a PIB by getting someone started on Isagenix, which takes time for me to make the cart, reach out to them, talk to them. So that's actually linear money. So that's time for money, okay? And you won't say things like PIB or rank advancement bonus because that doesn't mean anything to them. They don't know what those words mean. So all you'll say is We have linear money in Isagenix, which is bonuses you get for helping people get started. That's time for money. So we have that kind of money in Isagenix. And then also in Isagenix, we have leveraged income. Now, leveraged income is where maybe 100 people do 1% of the work each, okay? Versus you doing 100% of the work. So would you rather be in a situation where you're doing 100% of the work for the business, or where you and 100 other people are each doing 1%, right? And so that's another time, that's where you want them to get the light bulb moment, where they're like, yeah, that does make sense for me and 100 people to do 1% versus me doing 100%. That's what leveraged money in Isagenix looks like. And the next thing that she says in the training is, well, what if instead of getting 1% paid on 1% of the work, what if you got paid on 6% of all the work of the 100 people, okay? And so at this point, what you're gonna say is, Isagenix does this through a network. And wouldn't you agree that word of mouth is like the best way to get a product to market? It's the most effective way. Think about when you share something with your neighbor, or somebody asks where you get your hair done. So what we're doing is building a team that where 100 people are basically helping to share a referral by word of mouth, and you're getting paid 6% on it. Okay, so that's kind of what you want them to get to. Okay, so now the next thing you're going to do is draw out the leverage of the math. So if you have more room on your paper, you could write it down here, but I essentially used it all up. Thought I had a little eraser, but. Okay. Okay, so then the next thing you're going to say is, have you ever seen a penny double? And they might be like, yes or no. And you can say, okay, well, when you have a penny doubling, on the second day, you have 2 cents. 1 penny the first day, 2 pennies the second day. On the 10th day, you actually have $10. And on the 20th day, you have $10,000. And on the 30th day, you have $10 million. Well, Isagenix is just like that. We're sharing with people, sharing with people, sharing with people, and we're exponentially increasing the amount of people who are consuming the product. So let's just say that you got 10 people started on Isagenix, and you use this method. So you're writing all of this, okay? You use this method to help 10 people get started. So you're not getting 10 people started on drinking shakes. You're getting 10 people started on sharing this business model, okay? So they're committed to telling 10 people, right? So 10 people who are going to tell 10 people, because 10 is our magic number in Isagenix. You don't even need to say this to them, but that's executive, right? So that's the top 2% of the company. So focusing on 10 makes easy math for this example, and it also helps you to get to the top of the leadership, the top of the income that you can get. So if 10 people are sharing with 10 people, now you have 100 people sharing Isagenix, okay? And we know that in Isagenix, that we know that 80% of people are gonna be product users, right? So in this case, we're talking about 10 people sharing with 10 people who are like you and me, right? So 100 people sharing. So eventually we're going to have a lot more people, because there's going to be people beyond the 10 that are just there because they want to drink a shake. So when that happens and you have these 100 people who are now committed, right? Because you found 10 friends who then went and found 10 friends. Now we have 100 people. When those 100 people share with 10 people, now we have 1,000 people consuming Isagenix on your account, attached to you. Remember I told you there was 6% that you earn? Well, in Isagenix, we have about 100 BV, business volume, of food that's consumed every month by the people who are happy on Isagenix. So when you times 1,000 people and they're all on 100 BV, which is about $150 of reallocating your food, when you do that, you're basically talking about 100,000 BV coming through your organization. And when it's at 6%, it equals $6,000 a month, okay? Which equals $72,000 a year. So basically what you're trying to do, even though this is a lot of math, and this is why you should practice this pencil pitch, right? But this is a great thing to show someone who's gonna get freaked out by this, okay? And you guys can probably tell what I'm drawing, right? Some people immediately when they see our comp plan, they're like, that looks like a pyramid, you know, and they can't even get their brain beyond the fact that this is just two legs of sharing circles, right? So this is just a different way to share the compensation plan. This is a great thing to share with people who are really business minded, who are entrepreneurial minded, who are math minded, right? Because have you ever shared the circles, the original, like the initial comp plan that we have, and by like the fourth circle you've drawn, you can just see their eyes glossing over? Has that ever happened to anybody? Or you like share the comp plan? Okay, well, when you share this, what does it look like? It just looks like tens and hundreds and a bunch of math, right? So it's just showing them math, because that's really at the end of the day what Isagenix compensation plan is. It's math, okay? And so when you show them this and you're like, listen, this started with you finding 10 people who had the same kind of fire in life as you, who wanted to use a leveraged business model to change their life. And then when that 100 people came in, then we showed them, all of us together, me and the other 10 people, we showed them how to do what we did, which is just share with 10 people who also want this out of life. And at that point, we had 1,000 happy customers, right? Which equals $72,000 a year when you have 1,000 happy customers. Whose life could get changed by $72,000 a year? Mine can, right? And then what you can show them is all you have to do is repeat this process one time. Guess how much then it is? $702,000. And you've maxed out that business center. So this is how you show a business-minded person how it's just ones and zeros, you guys. And once you kind of learn the math by taking the video that she shows you and just learning how to draw up the math and telling a story while you're drawing the math, you can show someone how to max out their business center without drawing a single circle that's confusing to people, okay? Now, I still think it's valuable to know how to draw the comp plan both ways. This is just one method of how to do it. And what I don't want you to do is watch this video and be like, oh no, now I'm even more confused about everything. Like, do what works best for you. Like, this method works good for me because people understand math. The people I talk to, it feels natural for me to share this. I can share this with confidence. Okay, so then the last thing that you're gonna say when you're doing the pencil pitch is you're gonna say, so remember those first 10 people that we shared with? All I want you to do is say to them, hey, you got to meet my friend. She's teaching me this financial business model. You got to meet my friend and bring them to me, and I will help you share this story, right? So if I have a new person starting, I say, hey, just bring me your friends and I'll help you share this. Because expecting someone who's brand new to go and do this, that's really hard for them. But it's easy for them to be like, hey, this is my friend Gretchen who I was telling you about, who's going to help me change my financial future. I wanted to put us on a message thread together. And then I can say to them, hey, do you have 3 to 5 minutes? And I could share this with you. And you will have to do that for many people, right? To get them started, but then they'll start to do it themselves and they'll start to be able to tell the story. So just saying, hey, bring me a couple of your friends. And then I'm going to teach those friends how to share with a couple of friends. And so all you're asking them to do is to bring people to you so that you can share the financial opportunity. Okay. That's kind of what I have. And don't make it difficult. You can learn how to draw this out, right? And difficult isn't duplicable, but if you do this for the right people, it's going to be something where they aren't going to be able to sleep at night thinking that they can build a customer base of 1,000 people to make $72,000. That's all I have, Jake. Who has questions or comments?
Awesome. Gretchen, I love it. One comment, I like how you said, I mean, this is not something that if this makes you anxious and is not for you, that's okay. It's not for you. But have it as a tool in your toolbox because people in your life and people who will come into your business might think like this. And if you know they're that person, you just watch Gretchen execute this flawlessly. Like she is a resource that can do that for you and show you how she does it naturally and how she comes to bringing this to those kind of people. So I loved it. That was awesome. Thank you so much.
Yay. Okay. Lisa asked a great question. How do you close it? So you might close it with something like this. Your next step is to get your box delivered and get these amazing products in your body. And then it's like, here's a link to order, so that's their next step, is to put the products in their body. And then it would be like, bring me 2 friends. Who are 2 people that you know who want more out of life like you? Does that help, Lisa? Okay. And it's all your posture. It's all posture. And you can even say, hey, I'm still learning this. Do you mind if I practice this on you? I have something I want to practice on you. I did that all the time in the beginning when I was learning the comp plan. And my friends, and I'd be like, tell me what you thought. They're like, I don't know what you're talking about. Like they would give me real feedback. I shared it with a banker friend and she's like, I don't actually know how this fits into my life. Because I was so nervous about sharing it that I just literally didn't even tell anything that was personable in the story. She's like, I don't know why you're sharing this with me. I was like, I think I need more practice. But like, that's the only way you're going to get better, is just to practice it, and just have grace. Be like, hey, I'm learning this. I might screw this up, or I might have to look at my notes. But if I can practice on you, that would be amazing. Awesome. Well, thanks for coming tonight, everybody. Definitely share this video with a person in your life who is on your team and maybe they're into the money stuff that really lights them up. Share this with them, because this might be what's holding them back from sharing Isagenix more. It's just a way to do it that feels right to them. You're welcome, Jake, AKA Allison. Anything else you want to add before we leave?
No, just thank you everybody for getting on, and really watch this back. If this is something that you're not familiar with and you haven't done before, like Gretchen mentioned before with the video that you can Google and see the pencil pitch, this is just as good as the one you would see there. So make sure that you go back, rewatch. This is recorded. We'll get it posted, and rewatch it and get yourself familiar with the numbers and listen to my giggling kids in the background, which is why I haven't talked very much. I love you all.
All right.
Can't wait to see people in person. Have a wonderful rest of your Monday.
All right. Good night, everybody.